afternoon to you. I'm Todd Duplantis, and welcome to Up to the Minute. It's Friday, April the 3rd. We made it through this first week back with classes online. Good to have you here with us, students, faculty, and staff. Thanks for joining us. We're going to keep you up to date with all the HCC information this afternoon, and we got a couple of fun things we're going to talk about in the show. Speaking of fun, Mr. Fun himself, Michael Garfield, the high-tech Texan, joins us from his abode in Sugar Land. We'll be talking later on about some cool things, huh?
What to binge, because we made it through April and I'm still going stir crazy. So I got some fun ideas.
Good ideas for binge watching. We've got your suggestions coming up later in the show. And Caio de Aragon, one of our students here at HCCTV and one of our part-time workers. Caio, thanks for being here. We're going to have you talking about your homeland, Brazil.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're glad to have you with us. One of our shining examples of the fine work that's being done by the students at HCC. We'll get to Caio in a minute, but we've also got Ashley Hope, who's starting off the show. Ashley is the professor of studio art and art history, Center of Excellence for Visual and Performing Arts at the Southwest College. Welcome, Ashley.
Hello, hello.
Well, we've got you here. I know you're familiar with just about everybody who's involved with this broadcast. You've worked with them in one way or another. But Nathan Hale, who's our director today, you worked with him over the last year. And you've also worked with Caio, who we're going to talk more to in a second, because you and your students had been working on a project for the Art Car Parade. It's inspirational, but it's also heartbreaking as well, because the parade's kind of in limbo right now. But first off, why don't you tell us about the project you guys have been working on? And I believe we have some video from a story that Caio shot that we're going to play while you're talking.
Yeah, I think Caio shot some of the last footage of us working before COVID hit. So we've been a collaborative team. We've been multiple teams over 4 different semesters, and we've been designing, taking apart, and putting back together an ambulance that's going to roll down in style in the Art Car Parade whenever it happens.
Whenever it happened. The cool thing about this is like STEAM all combined. You've got science, technology, engineering, arts, math, all this combined, because you had a lot of departments that came together to work on this vehicle, correct?
Yeah, one of the best parts about it was watching a geology student sit next to a welding student, sit next to an art student and a philosophy student, all working together and learning how to appreciate each other when usually they wouldn't maybe mix, you know?
And that's the whole point of STEAM is getting all these thoughts and philosophies together so that people can share information for the better good and work on a project. Now, this project's been a year going, and I know you started with an ambulance. Did you guys take it apart? What was the procedure there?
It was actually very scary to receive an ambulance because it had everything from its like oxygen tank still in it, its gurney, and so to take it apart, we had no idea what was underneath any particular surface. And so we just took it apart screw by screw until it was just the naked shell with all its electricity. And we actually only recently got the like data information about what that electricity was, because it was just, probably 1 million wires running around in it. So, and then we plasma cut it, welded it back together, took off all the doors. It's been, incredibly challenging, but never ever did we have a challenge that we couldn't raise to the situation. Like faculty, students, everyone got it.
Right. And it's a project that even though the parade is kind of in limbo right now, it's something the students can still be proud of for working on together. It's not too often that you have a project of this magnitude at an institution where you bring all these parties together, because usually everybody's teaching discipline. You guys have been able to bring all these disciplines together for the greater good of this project.
Yes, and I want to make sure that everyone knows this, that the Art Car Parade shows up again, right? In 1 year, we're going to have that ambulance out in the public and celebrating all the things that we lost due to COVID this year. It will happen. Me and one of my students were laughing about the fact that Simone Biles worked for 4 years for the Olympics, and it's not happening, and she has to wait 4 years, and she'll be 4 years older. That's not the case for us. We can do this. We can wait a year and do our ambulance then.
And a lot of folks are on the same boat. I know there have been races that have been postponed indefinitely till next year, the Olympics. We got an NBA season that may or may not get back up again. So we've all kind of put our life on hold right now, but it's good to know that you've got the project completed. Have you thought of doing anything extra for it now that you've got some more time to work on it?
It's not completed. We lost the last month and a half. And so everything's designed and ready to assemble, but we actually have to do that final month and a half of assembly. So when we're going to do it, I think I might do it with a couple of volunteers from past, art card teams and just finish it off. But we're ready to go in a month and a half. We need 1 month and a half.
So you've got a long time to get prepared for that, and I've got to give a shout out for the Art Car Parade. It's a great organization, and they also work with the Orange Show. And I've got to say, I posted your videos in social media for the district, your video, and Caio did a follow-up video to kind of let everybody know what's going on with the Art Car Parade. And I tagged those folks. So if you have contacts over at the Orange Show or the Art Car Parade, tell them to do a little viral sharing of our videos, because I'm trying to give them a little love as well.
I also want to say that right now, all of those students for their online version of the art car class, they're actually building sculptures that when this is all done, we will mount them onto the art car. So we found a way to make sheltering at home work for art car production.
That's cool. Ashley, Hope, it's been an inspirational project. I know your students were disappointed, and I know you were disappointed, but I think you got a good grasp on next year. One day, sooner or later, we're going to be back to normal life, and that art car parade is going to roll downtown.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you for being here, Ashley. We appreciate it. And now I want to introduce Caio de Aragon. Caio is one of our students here at Houston Community College, and he is a foreign student. He's from Brazil, but most importantly, tell him where you work, Caio.
I work at HCCTV.
There you go. You're a great spokesperson for HCCTV, and you shot the story we were seeing just a few moments ago. You worked with Ashley, and you were able to bring her story to life. I wanted to talk to you today because during our meeting a couple of weeks ago, we first started getting back, and we have face-to-face meetings online just about every day now during the week. You had mentioned that you wanted to talk with one of your cousins in Brazil, but most importantly, one thing you mentioned stuck to me, and it really struck me and made me think, is you said, in Brazil, my relatives, it doesn't seem like they're getting the real story, and I'm worried for them, and I'd like to do a story on what's happening back home. Maybe you can tell the folks about that. Yeah,
sure. So one of the reasons why I decided to talk to my cousin is because he's a geography professor. So he knows, he has a lot of knowledge when it comes to the growth of the city, the things that impact the society. So I spoke with him on first through text message, and and I really like his arguments and the way he put things. So I was like, okay, I think that's a perfect person to talk to, and he actually shared a lot of information. So the way things are going in Brazil is we don't have as much space as we have in here in the USA or Italy and the other countries. But the problem is that the people over there was not really concerned, especially the president. We have some trouble with that because instead of he telling people to stay home, he actually was running a campaign. He spent $1 million doing a campaign to tell people to go to the street, which is like Brazil can stop. Literally, that was the name of the campaign. And when things are going bad already and you tell people that to not stay home, things are going to get worse. So I was really concerned. And I have hopes that things are going to get better because the president's not doing too much, but thankfully we have the mayors. So they are the people that are actually doing things. So the city that I'm from, they did a lockdown, so people are not allowed to go out for non-essential business. They're cleaning the streets too. I have some footage for that. They have this special product cleaning that they're throwing on the pavement, on the curbs to make, to try to sanitize everything.
And Caio, you obviously had some serious concern because it sounded like, from what you were saying just now and what you told me earlier, there was a lot of misinformation. And really, there was misinformation for all of us here in the U.S. as well, but especially over there. And when we were getting new information here, you said your relatives were asking you questions to try to get the real story, correct?
Yeah, they were trying to figure out like how things were being handled here, and and they took a little bit until they actually, okay, this is really serious, like we're about to ban Italy, because everybody was like, no, even the president said, no, this is just a little cold, and it's not true. Look how many people died already, and if we don't do anything about it, it's gonna be even worse, and we shouldn't be worried about. Of course, the economy is gonna be impacted in a way or another. The difference is how many people need to die in order for that to happen. So let's not let to get to this point. Let's do something about it right now, and then we fix the economy later.
For your cousin, after talking with him, and folks, if you're watching this live stream after it's over, check our Facebook page for the Houston Community College District and our YouTube channel, because we posted Caio's stories, and he had a long conversation with his cousin online, and that is posted as well. But what were some of the sentiments he was getting across to you and his thoughts right now during this crisis?
Yeah, he's really concerned too, because one of the people that are going to be most affected are the poor people, because they live in the favelas, which are the communities they have on the top of the mountains. So those people, they don't even have water sometimes. So they cannot even sanitize them or their kids, and they usually leave like 10 people in a small house. So if those people get contaminated, they're going to contaminate all the other people around. And those are the people that need to go down to work, to the street, because they have like informal jobs. They're not like hired by a company. They literally sell things, they sell food, they cook for a living. So now they're going to be affected, but are also going to spread the disease. So the idea would to have a solution to help more those people than anyone else, because they literally don't even have money to sustain them. They don't have savings. They don't have a way to make a living,
Caio, it must be, I can't imagine the position you're in where your relatives are back home. You're here in the States and you're studying. Obviously, you're looking to better yourself and grow in life, but you must miss your home and want to be there during these desperate times.
Yeah, I definitely miss them a lot, and I'm calling them every day and make sure they stay home. Especially my father, he's on the risk group. I have a brother too that he's like 10 years old, but he has bronchitis in the past, so he's on the risk group too. So but they're taking the care. They're staying home and avoiding going out unless they going to the groceries or something that is essential. So that's good to hear. At least my mom, same thing. She's staying home and trying to avoid any sort of contact with outside people.
So your family are there? They are self-quarantined right now, from what you're telling me, that they're home, and are most of their neighbors doing the same thing?
Yeah, most people are doing that. I think like some people already start dying, and one of the problems too, like we didn't have tests. According to what I talked to my cousin, and according to the news, the first fast test is gonna arrive today. So we don't even know like how many people actually died from coronavirus. We can't give the diagnosis because we don't know. We can't test people. So that's the problem too. We have those numbers, but those numbers are not accurate because we don't have tests. We can't tell it's coronavirus because we can't prove.
Caio de Aragon, you make us proud here at HCCTV with the work you do. We appreciate you being on and telling the stories that you do, because you do some great work, and I'm sure your parents are very proud of you as well. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We're going to move on to Michael Garth, the high-tech Texan, joining us now from Sugarland, from his humble abode. Michael, good afternoon.
Notice I changed my office. I've been downstairs in my home office. I wanted a different setting right now. So welcome to my living room, kitchen, and dining room.
Yeah, I've got a picture I'm going to show you here. Let me see if I can get my screen sharing, because did you see it? You didn't see our morning show, did you?
No, actually, I just shared this live. I was getting ready to watch the morning show. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, you got to watch the morning show. I'm gonna share my screen here, because we talked about some things here, and
That's
one
desktop.
of them. Yeah, there you are, working on your computer. This story was sent in yesterday. This will be playing in our social media soon as well. And of course, what people don't see are there you are as well. So
the things we do, Todd, you've been in TV just as long, certainly longer than I have. It doesn't matter what's below the camera, as we say, below the fold. It just don't matter. Oh, gosh. Audio.
Your mic.
Todd, your audio's off.
How about, let's put it this way. How about that way? I don't know how my audio is turned off. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I thought something. I thought there was a virus in the machine.
I know there could be. I've had some crazy things going on today. But one thing I wanted to talk to you about. Last week we talked about streaming services. So I thought something we do today, something fun, is we talk about our top 5 binge watching shows. Since you're home for an extended amount of time, what are your go-to shows to watch?
If you asked me this morning, and it's funny because I'm a TV guru. I lived on TV. The reason I got into media is I love TV. I spend almost all waking hours in front of the TV. My problem, Todd, is I'm a sports junkie. I live for sports, and there is nothing right now. 90% of my channel is on ESPN. So last night, if anybody happened to watch it, ESPN has been re-airing some of their great games over the past years and years and years. And last night happened to be the greatest college football game ever played between the University of Texas and USC.
Yeah.
It was the national championship for 2006. And I got to tell you about how the internet, how Twitter, how all forms of communication is coming together. I'm just going to kind of go off on a little limb over here. I was at that game. I have seen the replay of that game literally 100 times, and I was glued to it last night. Because it was nationally shown on ESPN, the Twitter sphere was going crazy. And what was so neat, the original coach from Texas, Mac Brown, and we're 14 years removed from the game, the players from that game in 2006, who are now out of the NFL right now, they were live tweeting like it was happening. And it was one of the neatest experiences. And I say this, it's because I can binge watch those things, but this is what the internet, now it's TV, it's memories, and it's Twitter. It all brings us together. I saw that was fun. And so that, if I could binge watch sports all the time, I would.
Yeah, it's funny. You turn on Saturday afternoon, they've got nothing to play right now. They don't have the college games, so they're giving you highlights. A couple of weeks ago, I got a chance to watch the Cougs with Hakeem Olajuwon, back in the Phi Slamma Jamma days. Of course, we know how that could end. Go Cougs. But yeah, got a chance to watch that. And like you said, the players now go on Twitter, and it's great to get that experience.
It's fun. No, but you did ask about some shows that I'm binge watching, and I came up with a few. To me, this is about time for comfort. We hear comfort food, which we need to be at ease through these times. And so everybody has their go-to food or whatever. And so I've been watching some of my go-to shows. If anybody who knows me, I'm not the deepest person. I'm a comedy guy. I don't need to hit the dramas. I certainly don't want the scary movies. And so I kind of go maybe at number 1 to 5, if you want it that way. Yeah. Probably the funniest TV show that now you can just binge. Still on the air, it's Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David.
Oh, yeah.
It hits on so many levels. Obviously, he created and certainly produced Seinfeld, but what Larry David has done, it's just funny. Some iconic phrases and slang that even my friends, are using our everyday vernacular. So I've been going back literally from season 1, from that one too. Number 2 is something that I found on Amazon Prime, and I'm not a big Amazon guy usual, but Amazon Prime Video is another big reason to subscribe to get the Amazon Prime membership.
Yeah.
It's a show that's only been around. It's only in the 3rd season, but it's called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And you probably would appreciate this. Anybody who's got a background in art, theater, creativity, directing, and producing would know. The writing is great. The way this TV show is filmed and edited, almost in one-take shots, almost Scorsese-ish, it is amazing. This should be a must-see for anybody who's in film or communication classes because it is actually brilliant. And it's very funny following a family in the late 1950s and 60s, Jewish in New York. It's very funny. Here's one, and you see, by the way, one of my kids back there. Who is that?
Oh, I think we recognize that guy. That's studio every now and then.
Caio recognizes him too. This is Josh Garfield, who also works for HCCTV. I'm learning a lot from my kids too. They watch different shows than I do. But Josh and his younger brother are fans of Family Guy. And every time I walk through the den, Family Guy is on. And I find myself stopping and watching it because it's not just a cartoon. If you listen to it, it's over my head for the adult references. I mean, they have some funny 80 things. And so I'm sitting there watching the Family Guy stuff. So it's very funny too.
Yeah, my kids, I got into Family Guy originally because it came out in like 99. My kids were very young then. I love the show. You remember they had a first run, they canceled it, and then they brought it back 5 years later.
Yeah, and I think American Dad is another kind of similar spinoff of Seth MacFarlane or something. Yeah, but I think Family Guy is funny that I haven't seen. And then here's one that probably everybody has seen every single episode on. It's The Office. And The Office it's so classic too. And by the way, if you think The Office is on nonstop 24/7 everywhere, you better binge watch it quickly because it's been on Netflix forever, I believe. Netflix is losing the rights to it next year in 2021. I believe it's going to go to the NBC Peacock service too. There's some of the rights, but I mean, again, you go back and look at someone else brilliant and smart the way that is. And that really kind of started the third eye, the camera, when the people started talking to the camera that every sitcom does now. The last one, number 5, is a new one that I haven't started to watch, but I'm getting ready to. I took up on my radio show of like, if you could binge watch something that you've never seen. And I haven't seen a lot of things. I've never seen The Sopranos. I've never seen any of the Godfather movies. Wow. Don't judge me. I know. But everybody kept saying, if you have to watch a series, Breaking Bad is just out of this world.
Yeah, well, welcome to 2020, Michael. Have you seen Star Wars, a new little movie out there, been around for about 40 years?
Not going to lie. I was in 1976, 77. I was 11 or 12 years old. I saw the first one. To this day, I have never seen the subsequent 2. I've never seen Empire, and I've never seen Jedi. And I've seen the other crap ones that have been coming in lately. So, no, I think I have a lot of time between now and the summer to actually go back and watch everything ever shot on film. But I'm looking forward to watching Breaking Bad. And there are my top 5 binge-watching things.
Well, if you got Disney Plus, they're all on there now. Of course, have your kids bring you up to speed. Okay, so I'm going to throw up my top 5. They're a little out of left field. But Wentworth, I'm going to come in as number 5. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but if you liked Orange is the New Black, think of a grittier, darker, more better acting, but it was made in New Zealand. There's about 7 seasons. It's available on Netflix. Wentworth is incredible. It's a drama, a more very hardcore drama about a women's prison and all the dealings that go on back there. Incredible show. Binge watched all 7 seasons of that. Another one I like, they only made about 3 or 4 seasons, but originally it was on Cinemax, called Strike Back. If you're familiar with that.
Not familiar with that one.
Undercover Black Ops, CIA, crazy missions involving everything that'll take you around the world. You are dark, dude. It's a great movie. It's like a movie every week, but it's a great show to watch. It's called Strike Back, very action-packed. Another one is like a modern-day Western, Longmire. If you haven't found that one, originally came out on AMC.
I have a bourbon named Longmire.
Oh man, well there you go. This one is a great show. It's a detective show, but it's a modern day Western. Queen of the South, we just got turned on to that over the past few months. Binge watched all 5 seasons available. It's on USA Network. They have a new season coming out later this year, and I can't wait for that. Think of Scarface, the 80s movie.
Love it.
A lot of 80s connections to this. It reminds me of a modern day version of Miami Vice. Harder, more grittier, some great music mixed in with it, great characters as well. Queen of the South. And the number 1, of course, I got dragged into this. It took me 2 episodes to get into it, but you can't stop watching it. You got to get through the first episode. Tiger King.
No.
Tiger King.
I was about to talk about this one. Like, I was just waiting.
I swear, I saw the hype. People were saying, see, Kyo's nodding his head. He knows what I'm talking about.
We also started it.
I bet they both watched the whole thing.
It's good.
Everybody was talking about it all on social media. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this show. I turn on the show. After the first episode, I'm like, no, this is, and I even messaged a friend of mine who posted about it. I said, tell me it gets better after an episode or 2. It does. Get through 2 episodes. You won't want to turn it off. You'll finish it the same night.
Yeah, see,
Watch
my problem is I have ADHD. I can't, if I don't get through 30 minutes, much less an hour, it ain't happening. The Tiger King thing, that's one of those phenomenons that the internet's going after. If you remember, Netflix had something about a year and 3 or 4 months ago during Christmas season. It was Bird Box with who was our Sandra Bullock. Everybody watched it because they were stuck at home. There was nothing to do over Christmas or something. And so now people are hooking on to this Tiger King. I don't watch reality. I don't know if I've ever watched a real reality. I ain't going to start with Tiger King. I just can't lower myself.
It took me a little while. And Bird Box, though, I made it through maybe the first 30 minutes, and I'm like, no. I still haven't gone back and watched the whole movie. So
it was intense.
Yeah, but Tiger King made very well made, and the guy always wanted to be a star. He's now a star. The irony is he's behind bars.
And I think he's got coronavirus. I saw last night on Twitter too.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I don't lie. Twitter does not lie. I think Joe has got coronavirus. I hate spreading rumors. That's a fact.
That's really interesting.
It's not good. Hey, Todd, one more. You and I, we love the 80s. We are the age group that we are the king of the 80s. When we are together, we play music trivia, and we can't even stump each other. If you go back to TV shows of the 80s, and let's just go some dramas at night. I mean, remember the Thursday NBC night up with Cosby Show, Family Ties. It goes on.
Yep.
Give me one or two that if you could binge watch some of those 80 shows, and I know I can think of one or two. What would you go back for those 80 TVs?
I can tell you what I have gone back and binge watched with my wife. We watched Miami Vice.
Absolutely.
And a little bit further back than the 80s, I'm going to go with Love Boat. Hey, man.
Love Boat.
I found them on, I think they were on YouTube, a bunch of them. And then the old Johnny Carson shows. I watched those on YouTube.
Who sings the same song to Love Boat?
Jack something.
Come on.
I have it on my iPod, but I'm not going to on my cell phone because it is on my running list.
Okay, you can Venmo me. It's Jack Jones.
Mm-hmm. Jack Jones.
Yeah. Next time we do this, we're going to have people watching us play trivia. It's stump the guys with the hair.
Yeah, stump the guys with the hair. There you go. Welcome to a new show at HCC. Michael Garfield, the high-tech Texan, you're on between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Saturdays. And tomorrow we've got Dr. Kurt Ewan is going to be joining you with a special announcement for HCC.
Yeah, I know that. Also, you guys are starting your online registration coming up next week. There's a lot of things up be update HCC. So it's 9:50 a.m. It's actual traditional radio, kids, or the iHeartRadio app. It's old school, but it's new school. So tune in.
Absolutely. Michael Garfield, the high-tech Texan, thank you for joining us this afternoon on the show. And I also want to thank my other guest, Caio de Aragon. Thank you for being here, Caio. Get back to work now. We appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Good to have you here. And Ashley Hope from the Southwest College. We're going to get that art car rolling sooner or later, Ashley, and I know you guys will be ready.
We will.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining me this afternoon on Up to the Minute. Happy Friday to you. Have a great weekend. Have a good weekend. Try to just relax and look outside and just kind of take it easy for the weekend. All right? Have a good day. We'll see you on Monday morning at 10 a.m.